Hello and welcome to the Monday night recap.
It's Monday? Oh,
It's Monday,
my
right?
head hurts. It is Monday.
Oh,
My head hurts. Preston, it's Monday for sure. It feels like a Monday.
yeah.
It's been a
Yeah,
long
I'm having
Monday.
a
It's
real
been a
tough
long
time
Monday.
paying attention in school this week. I'm not in school
Yeah.
anymore, but you know what I'm saying? It's like the week
Yeah.
before summer
Yep.
vacation.
Yeah. Work has been difficult for me to focus up on as well because I'm like, but RMA is like tomorrow. Like I gotta get stuff done. I gotta get the work in. I
Yeah.
gotta do my dues.
Yeah. Well, we have RMNA next week, right? Which is going to be
Yep.
awesome. Super excited. And then the week after is the 4th of July. So,
Oh my gosh, that's
I'm
so
just
right.
dying at work this week cuz I'm like, all right, this is one more big boy full
One
work
more,
week,
and
and then
then
I
you're
get to
done for
go
like
partied
two
up, do
weeks.
RMNA, like have the best time, then come
Mhm.
home, be absolutely dead for 4 days cuz I'm flying in Sunday and then going to work on Monday.
Yep.
But
Yep.
only 4 days, then 3-day weekend. And then next thing you know it, we're halfway through July and it's like, dang, mostly through the year. It's starting time to start using the rest of my PTO.
Yeah,
So,
it's time to start using it up. Start throwing it out.
yes
I'm very
sir.
lucky that my PTO accrues to 200 hours, and I get to keep it and roll it over as much as I want until I want
Oh,
to use it.
nice.
It's super nice.
200 hours? You get
Yes,
5 weeks of PTO
5 weeks of PTO.
and
Yep.
it
The best part
accrues? I
is
mean, like, and
the
it
best.
rolls? Holy
Yes, it does
smokes,
roll.
dude.
The best or the worst part, depending on who you ask, is that I don't get any specific holidays off. I get to choose which ones
Okay.
to take off. I
Okay. Because I
personally
get like
like it.
9 company holidays or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get no company holidays, but I kind of like it because it means like if I'm like the only person working Christmas, like not to say that I'm not working as hard as if I had worked a regular day, right? But I still get the bill as if it was the whole day. So it's like it's kind of nice actually. I like it personally, and then I get to take like a different day off if I really want to. But yeah, I think we've stalled enough. I think chat's here enough. What are we doing today for the recap, Preston?
All right. So yesterday we watched a couple really intense, really close matches that were
Oh yeah.
knockouts. Those were top 8 to top 4 knockout matches. We now have 4 national qualification matches
Ooh.
before semifinals and finals. We're not watching all of that tonight. I have a bunch of the 4 national qualification matches queued up though, so we'll just
Hmm.
start grinding through those until we're good and happy.
Let's do it. Let's
Sweet.
run it through. So the national qualification matches, they take you to nationals, and then from nationals you can qualify to internationals, right?
That's a great question. I That sounds right, but I honestly kind of thought that this was the matches that qualify you for the international.
You might be correct. Actually, I think you are correct because if I remember correctly, you get to the nationals, quote unquote, and it's like groups for internationals. Like internationals starts right afterwards, technically,
Yeah.
because the international group is at the same time as everyone else. So I remember that. I remember that actually. So yeah, this is the qualification matches for the people we will see in July during RMUC, the full one. Chat, I wasn't ready. I apologize. I did not have the Google Translate
That's all
up.
right. We have Reborn from the University of Science and Technology Beijing versus
Ooh.
Wolffang, is what that says in Chinese, by Huazhong University of Science and Technology. So, 2 science and technology schools, one from Huazhong and one from Beijing.
Yeah,
Huazhong?
the Beijing side.
Huazhong.
Yeah, the Beijing side for Reborn was a 2023 national championship, top 32, and also same in 2024. So top 32 team has gone to nationals before, so they're obviously expecting to again. I would assume that they're going to be very powerful in this particular match. Huazhong University of Science and Technology on the right, as you mentioned, 2023 season Southern Division top 16 and 2024 season national championship top 32, also vying for that national spot. These teams actually seem very well matched up in terms of just previous stats and records. So that's going to be pretty exciting to see from both sides.
Getting a look. What is that image on
But
the
it's a
top?
hero.
Almost looks like a space invader from
I was going to
way
say it
back
looks
in
like
the
a
day.
QR code. I was going to try and scan it actually if I could.
You
But
know,
this is the
I
hero
think
on the
UW has
reborn
patterns
side.
like that on their robots, originally
Mm.
designed to try and mess up some CV.
Oh, that would make sense. That would make sense. I guess it could interfere with like the localization tags maybe. But
Well,
on the
the
left side, we've
numbers,
got.
I think. So you're not allowed
Mm,
to put red and blue places on your robots. Like that's not legal because you're not
yeah.
allowed to try and trick the CV by doing colors. But you
Yep.
can
Yep.
put, I mean, notice all of those squares are square shapes with blocky white patterns, right? Looks a
Yeah.
lot like the numbers or the century tags. So with these top tier teams that are targeting using CV and like reading text, it might inhibit teams that are hunting down the hero in particular.
Yeah, no, absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, it is. I think it's noteworthy that it is only on the hero that they have that kind of that CV camouflage, if you will.
It is very interesting to me. I haven't seen it before, which is why I'm like, ooh, an interesting strategy. I wonder if it's effective because it's on the top of the heroes. So I'm like, does it really actually do much? It's not in the same area, right? And there's some good height rejection algorithms you can use to get around this kind of stuff. I actually know that University of Washington used to do a height rejection algorithm so they wouldn't fire at bases because the bases used to both be purple when they were invulnerable, which obviously very difficult to discern purple from red and blue. It's kind of both.
Yeah,
Uh, and so the way that UW got around that was just just base reject, like just height reject anything above a certain limit. You're not shooting there. There's no point. It's not a robot, right? It's a base instead. And I think that's a really good way of getting around that kind of stuff. So I wonder if this is to test that from other teams. We'll find out soon though, as we bring on the bots.
that's so simple and I love it. The red engineer going for the silver cubes, the blue engineer going for the gold at the start of this game. Notably, the drone for Wolffang offline. All of the bots for Reborn out and about. The drone starting to already chunk through the outpost. Pretty good accuracy. Look at that.
Yep. Look at the sentries fight in the middle though. The red sentry is going down super low, almost losing out to the blue sentry entirely.
See if blue standard 3 trying to chase down that kill. Red standard 3
however,
up.
now pushing to the red standard as the outposts are both falling to pretty similar healths. The hero shots here are making a lot of the difference for the blue team. Blue's outpost falls, but so does red at the same time, and that's the difference between a hero and a drone. The drone shot a lot more projectiles. The hero only had to shoot a couple and landed all those shots. Really good accuracy from Blue's hero.
Yeah, but I think gold efficiency wise, it does favor Reborn. They've got 10 hero projectiles still loaded up as the dart flies across for Wolffang. A little bit low. The hero for Reborn doesn't really look super mobile at the moment, kind of twitching. Red standard 3 gets an altercation with the sentry and is taken out.
That's a very scary sentry. It took the red sentry down really low. It came out of the bridge there and took out the red standard as well.
Yeah, now battling red standard 4, I believe.
Blue standard 3 making it into the enemy zone, looking for the hero. Gonna put some shots on him. Great play in my opinion. Let's see if he can knock it out, and he does. Is he gonna get out now though? Oh, the red sentry sees him, but he does get away. Solid play by Blue standard, recognizing that no one is there to defend that hero and taking it out to make it so that the Reborn team can't make any starts on their base. Solid
Wolffang starting to fire hero shots across the
map.
Oh
no,
they land one or two.
Upside down.
Yeah, it's going to be a really important play as Wolffang continues to hammer down on the base of Reborn. They've got it dialed in. They're in that sniper position. The hero for Reborn moving much more swiftly now, which is important. They've got quite a bit of lead to make up. Plenty of time, but honestly, quite a bit of pressure here. Red standard 3, red standard 4 ganging up on the hero. They're going to chunk him out. The blue hero didn't even have a chance to try and run away. Absolutely melted. Great teamwork.
Blue engineer also coming up to take more gold cubes. Both standards are going to harass him a little bit. Not going to do much though. I think they need to save their econ here. They don't have a solid amount. They're only at 800 versus the 1300 that blue has to work with here. So I think that Wolffang is definitely going to take the lead here as we go closer into the end game, just with the sheer amount of projectiles.
Yeah, as you say, that blue standard 3 wins the standard altercation there. Blue standard 4 does a little bit of harassment and makes it out. The red sentry now playing defense, chipping away at the blue standard. If red standard at 4 can finish him off. 12 health remaining. Come on. 2 more.
Has no projectiles. No. Can't do it.
Look, I'm never one to encourage ramming, but I think a small bump there would have traded a yellow card for a kill. It's a melee move.
As true as that would be, it's just not allowed in the books, so you can't do it too much. All right, blue standard 3 in the corner or blue standard 4 in the corner seems to be trying to keep that little sneaky zone on the hero, keeping vision, making sure the hero doesn't get into a good position to start taking the lead back. I like that play.
Yeah, that corner is probably very difficult to see or even aim at from the drone as well.
Absolutely.
A couple more hero shots coming across, landing for 1 for Wolfang. There we go.
There's another.
But they've taken so long to get that dialed in. Now red standard 3, red standard 4 back to defend, starting to chew through the health of that blue hero.
Will he be able to get away? He will probably get away in this situation. Oh, but he's choosing not to actually.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
choosing
red
to
standard
stay.
3 was taken out. The blue was able to defend their teammates. They launch a dart across, continuing to widen the lead now, almost 2,000 HP between the two teams.
Yeah. I feel like we're getting a resupply to blue standard 4 in the corner over there. Still just waiting for the hero to make his move, just like a tiger waiting to pounce.
Dart coming across. It's difficult. I'm not sure what's going on with Reborn's hero. Is it stuck somewhere?
The minimap is not present at the moment, so we can't see it. Oh, there goes red standard 4 though, off on that ledge. Unfortunate situation to be in. Hopefully, it can come back up and recover. It doesn't seem unrecoverable by any means, but we won't know for 30 seconds. Which, if we even
won't
have
get
30 seconds.
Wow, Wolfang chews through the base.
Yep, I think that was that econ differential I mentioned earlier. They just had so many more projectiles to work with. The red hero kind of vanishing as well was not really doing Reborn any favors. Wolfang sticking together as a pack, making it through. Solid play by them.
Yeah, I think Reborn's got a solid chance. They had some weird issues with their hero, so obviously it disappeared as we were talking about there right at the end. At the beginning, it seemed to be almost stuck with its wheels, unable to get out of the initial starting zone. So
Yeah.
interested to see if that problem persists for round 2. But even with those hero issues, I mean, it was not a very close game. You could see 0 hero projectiles for Reborn. In my opinion, the biggest problem. To 50 for Wolfang.
Yeah. The stats don't lie. The stats don't lie.
Double the econ as well, going to Wolfang. 7 to 2 kills, a fairly dominant performance. The drone really the highlight for Reborn's team.
But the drone really got involved in the beginning and then had to sit out the rest because they didn't have the econ to upkeep it.
Both teams had really good backline access with their standards, taking out heroes. 52% accuracy, one of the best accuracy percentages
was really solid. The outpost accuracy was the one that really shocked me. It killed the outpost so fast, Preston. It was able to match up with that drone, and basically they were knocked out at the same time. I think that was probably the most interesting part of the match for sure. Was how fast that hero took out that outpost. I definitely want to see it again this game. We're seeing some stats actually on the hero now. It does have a top 12 accuracy at 43.3% average throughout the entire competition and doing almost 4,000 damage just by itself. That's incredibly solid work. 39 total projectiles launched and 6 sniper shots landed. That's pretty solid as well. Solid robot for sure. Definitely one that you don't want to get in the way of if it launches one projectile at you.
I do wonder if those 1 damage projectile shots count or not for the accuracy. I think they should. They do land. They just hit with an angle that did not allow for it to count as a hero shot, right? So
gotcha.
Be an interesting deep dive into the stats. Maybe we'll figure it out one of these days. But this red engineer, really compact. This is a very narrow base. Usually the engineers are extremely wide, stemming from their history, right? Their history in RoboMasters. They used to be the only bot without like a weight limit. They used to have massive size limits. Engineers were allowed to be very, very big and obtuse, leading to a lot of robot teams putting the cubes inside of their bot. Now more teams opting for a sleek and compact design.
Yeah, however, that engineer's stats-wise was just not really up to par. Only like 1.5 cubes exchanged every round is pretty rough, I would say, and taking 20 seconds to do so. It's not what you want to see, and I think that's part of the reason their econ was so low last game. Hopefully we can step up with the engineer driver if it's a driver issue, or hopefully they learn how to work better within the actual framework of the robot you're given. You can't build the perfect robot every time, so sometimes you just got to work with what you have. And maybe it's a matter of spending the econ more wisely. Maybe it's a matter of you have to spend the econ a little bit smarter into just the hero versus spending it into your standards that don't really do too much in the game at first. I think there's a lot of different ways you can spin it, Preston. I'm curious to see what they're going to go with.
getting a look now. We saw the standards for the blue team now getting a close up on the red team. I really liked that design from the blue side standards. Those guys are so tiny. They really were very realistic about the number of projectiles their bots would need to physically hold. They were top loaded, but I'll bet they don't hold more than like 100 projectiles.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not very physically large, so I don't presume they would hold a ton.
Yeah, we see a lot of bots as we're looking down. I think Red Standard 3, Red Standard 4 might potentially both be swerve drive modules. Um,
Mm.
but we see a lot of bots, especially in RMNA, that are capable of holding like 300 projectiles. And
I
it's
think it's a matter of like I think it's a matter of how active the standards have to be compared to RMUC. RMUC, you can kind of let them come back for a second, grab some projectiles, and then make like a sneaky play on the back line. The econ is a lot less predictable in RMUC and it's more constant and steady. RMUL, you only get econ when the clock hits another minute, right? And so spending it all and keeping it as much as possible is more important than actually like than ever going back. When you're in the moment to be firing, you don't want to run out of physical projectiles, right? Which true for both, but I feel like it's even more impactful in RMUL with such a small field and the ability to like lose so much if you're not nearby. I think that's probably the reason why we see some bigger hoppers in the RMNA and RBL regions.
perhaps. It'll be interesting to see this year, right? Do you feel like the larger maps are going to and the terrain additions this year for RMNA, do you feel like that's going to encourage teams to carry more projectiles with them so that they don't have to make the long trek back to their base? Or do you think that will cause teams to carry fewer physical projectiles, have a slightly lighter, perhaps smaller robot, if they are confidently able to navigate the rough terrain and make it back quickly and frequently?
I think that the rough terrain, especially given the fact that there's that ramp that takes you straight back to the ammo deposit, kind of encourages that you should be like holding less ammo because going back to resupply is not as bad. Coming to the field originally, you do want to have max projectiles, but I think being more mobile makes you faster in general. So your cycle time is more important. And so I think that you're going to want to have a lighter robot, less projectiles, moving faster, and taking key shots as opposed to having a bunch in your hopper and moving super slow over the bumps. And by the time you get to the central point, it's already over.
All right, Char, so hear me out. Maybe we can look at
Hearing you
teams'
out.
hopper sizes as an
Mm.
indication for their strategy in RMNA this year. The teams with larger hoppers
Oh, yeah.
perhaps are thinking to get all three bots in the middle and defend, whereas
Mhm.
teams with smaller hoppers might be thinking of cycle the robots in and out of the center every time the robot that's in the middle is in a numbers disadvantaged fight, but only has to survive for about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Because all three of your bots, that means you really only ever have to be in there, right, for those 10 seconds. You can cycle them continuously.
You're absolutely right, Preston. As we bring on the bots, though, I do want to ask you, and we'll kind of talk about this as the game starts here and both engineers go to get cubes. If anything interesting happens, we'll come back to this chat. But for some color commentary, I feel like that first strategy of defend is just objectively a bit worse, right?
200 points is so few as the hero continues to
It
chunk through
is.
the outpost of Reborn. Just absolute masterclasses. They get the power rune immediately.
Oh,
Wow. That is a
and their
very, very
outpost
early
is
power rune.
gone. Reborn's outpost dropped, power rune given to the side of Wolfang. And at this point, you've got 5 more projectiles in that hero. Line up the shot as they are. See what you can do. Red Center 3 has passed out or was knocked out earlier as well. The red drone having to fly back, running out of econ, running out of projectiles, just not able to dismiss itself anymore.
There we go. Wolfang starting to land a couple shots onto the base, one counting for a single, and landing a 300. That red hero still struggling to navigate. I'm not sure if they're having a mechanical issue with the wheel or perhaps a motor. They drove really well for like 10 seconds in the previous game, but Blue Standard
Absolutely.
3, Blue Standard 4, capitalizing on this fact as the dart opens up for Wolfang. Going to take a couple
I
shots
love
at
the
the base.
positioning of the two standards. They're at the very front end of the central buff point or the central point, so they can stop any standard advances to their hero. Look at that. Rest of the
Dart
four now they're
landed
trying
for
to take a
one.
confrontation. Oh my goodness! Is that the red? That's the blue
That's the
drone
blue
trying to
drone.
get
It
off the
fell down
ground.
last time too. Struggling.
Who even needs it though? Who even needs it though, Preston? Look at the way that Wolfang is playing this. They've taken full control of the screen. you can't really get anywhere. That red standard 3 tried to get through, denied by blue standard 3. Blue standard 3 is now watching the red engineer and the red standard 4 completely cutting off their supply to econ or any kind of defense for the hero. The hero is so scared he's back in his base at the very far back. Like, the red team is completely shut down at this point from the rest of the map. As blue hero continues to chunk through with 10 more projectiles, are any of these going to land, though, is the question.
Yeah, the blue sentry did a great job backing up that blue standard, holding down the top stairway, the top hallway, the top passage between the two bases. Is now red hero finally gets into that position, starting to take lob shots, but hopefully understands that the outpost still up for Wolffang. Shots at the base currently not the best play. Won't even matter.
And
Blue
red
standard 3
hero
takes
got destroyed. The health dropped so fast, Preston. Blue standard 3 slowly meandering through red's base, knowing nobody can stop him. He's untouchable. Coming to red standard 4, taking out red standard 4 on the side. Just a quick drive-by as he continues through, meandering slowly back to
the
base.
Massacre. Blue standard 3 going for the triple kill.
Jesus. Slayer on the field for sure. It reminds me of I wish we had the Halo, like, Slayer.
Yeah.
3, triple kill, double kill.
The Chinese OB does do a double kill, triple kill. Really? It's not the Halo guy, though.
We should make it the Halo guy. We should ask the Halo guy specifically. Chat, if any of you know the Halo guy, bring him in. Let him know.
Oh my goodness, Wolffang, one more shot will do it. Maybe one more shot will do it.
I believe in the one more shot. So
eventually they'll hit one. One more shot.
One more?
One more.
Another one.
Blue standard 3. They're saving it for our boy Blue standard 3. There it is.
I'm thinking of Marvel Rifles Bucky. Again. As the hero finally makes it through, destroying the base. That was just a dominant performance by Wolffang. They completely shut down Reborn. There was no chance of them even leaving their base. The red hero unable to even sit in the sniper position because both standards and sentry would have melted him immediately. The second he did, blue standard 3 decided, you know what? I don't want you alive anymore. Flew all the way back around, taking out red standard 4 and 3 at the same time. The only threats that could be to the hero. And that's how Wolffang took it. Crazy play by Wolffang. I adored that. Looking at the stats here, we've got some nice little stats here. The damage is the really big thing to check out here, and also obviously the 42 MMs were shot more on the Wolffang side. It makes a ton of sense to me, Preston. I don't see how Reborn could have fired any more than 3. They were really locked down.
Crazy accuracy. I think we might. Yeah. I hope the hero is MVP again. The accuracy here,
absolutely,
almost 8,000 damage with only 56 hero projectiles is wild.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Those hero projectiles do not do enough. How much do those do? Those do 100, 200 to. Those do 200 to bases and 100 to other robots. So with 8,000,
they can do up to 300, right? And so it's.
That's right. Oh, it's even more actually accuracy.
MVP going to blue standard 3 though, super fair. Honestly, the standards were absolutely like game changers. They applied so much pressure.
Blue standard 3 especially was the one that went in, killed the red hero, killed both standards multiple times, was sticking in that top corner to make sure he couldn't get to the outpost sniping shot. Basically allowed them to maintain the lead they had and gave the blue hero all the time he needed in order to win the match.
All right, Char. So that was the first game between Reborn and Wolffang.
Yeah. That was a good game. I liked that game. It was a really quick game. It was a little bit less close than what we were used to in some other Eastern Conference matches we've watched so far. But I think it was a good way to showcase, like, sometimes you do just get destroyed in Robomasters, and there's not really much you could have done about it. I don't think that Reborn could have played better necessarily. I think that they just were outclassed in every capacity.
I agree. I do want to point out, I think Wolffang did an excellent job of slamming the door. We've seen other shutouts, we've seen other dominant performances, and one thing that I've called out a few times with some of these top tier teams is they get to that lull in the middle and their hero accuracy has been so low in the mid to low 30s that they don't have the gold that they need to continue finishing off the base. So I think that Wolffang actually did better, even though their opponent, right, perhaps some could argue that their opponent didn't put up a huge fight, so it really didn't give so much resistance. But Wolffang did a great job of using the situation they were in and finishing extremely quickly.
Absolutely. I think the strategy really does work though, even against a much more like performant team. Like the ability to shut down the team there by keeping your standards at the front, keeping the sentry there. They're all that's essentially protection to your hero, right? If you're knocking out their standards and their hero, their only chance of making it forward, that's the best kind of protection for your hero.
Agreed. Agreed. All right, next up we're going to have Tars Go from
Ooh, I
Jilin
recognize that name.
University versus Capital Normal University, which sounds like an
Ooh,
awesome school name. Uh,
Capital Normal.
Capital
I think you
Normal
should go to.
University.
I think it'd be a funny thing to say to someone. You need to go to Capital Normal, by the way, while you're
They
at
went
it.
to normal school, Shar. They
They're at
literally did.
normal school.
Uh, and the team from Normal University is called Pi.
That's
Let's
fun.
uh let's dive on in. Here we go.
Quite the normal name, if you will. Pie.
I have been loving the shirts from Pi. When I'm looking at all the results for the different matches and picking our games,
Yeah.
um, it's easy to see Team Pi. Oh, we got a little bit of buffer here. Let's see. I think
Oh,
we turned out okay though.
yeah. So we got Tars Go on the red team, 2023 top 32 and 2024 national championship top 32. So a team that's also made it to nationals before, probably going to aim to do so again. Quite a solid team to go out. Essentially the same level as we saw from the blue team last time, Wolfang. So nothing crazy, nothing to scoff at either. Capital Normal University, incredibly normal in being a national championship twice in a row, top 32, 2023 and 2024. So all these teams have made it before. All these teams are hoping to make it again, I'm sure, but only one can, right, Preston? Only one from each of these matches can. So in this case, we're going to see if it's going to be Tars Go or if it's going to be Pie, not the number, but the dessert.
Correct. All right, so taking a look at these bots, hardware-wise, I see a lot of swerve drive on the side of Pi. Taking a look at the engineer stats, look like they frequently go for level 2. So obviously middle of the pack engineer cubes. That is a very tall red engineer
It is very tall,
with
and I think that
Omni
tallness
wheels
is helping
and
it.
Mechnum wheels.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy to use Omni and Mechanism. I see those middle Omnis for sure. This is a top 9 or top 14 robot. It looks like 4 cubes exchanged in the conference overall. 901 econ, not the most, but not bad by any means. And always going for that difficult level 3. So this engineer I do expect to be better than the Pi one for Tars Go. Tars Go's engineer seems to be a little bit more interesting, like a little more versatile when it comes to actually exchanging those cubes. Here we see another good look at the Pi engineer. Yeah, as we said mentioned earlier, the 2.0 difficulty definitely going to be in the way. It's a lot more cubic as well, I feel like, Preston. I feel like it's a lot more closer to the ground. Maybe one that could go underneath that bridge and grab the gold cube if it wants to. Maybe that's what takes the cycle time so fast. Well, I stand correct, actually. The cycle time is pretty the cycle time is pretty fast, which is why I'm interested to see if that's what it's going to do with the strat-wise. Wow.
Look at all these bots. That is a crazy engineer. Almost looks like a Mars rover. The 6
It
wheels
really does. It's
and
the
the very flat
curiosity.
body as Red Hero accidentally launches a projectile there.
Don't call it Tars Go. Call it Mars Go because they got a Mars
Hey.
rover. That I got jokes,
The
ladies and gentlemen.
independent.
I'll be here all night.
Look at the independent double-headed sentry of Pi. See if that comes.
Yeah,
into
interesting.
Play.
We've seen that before with teams like UW, for example, from NA, who have that double turret sentry. It can look in multiple directions at a time, and then when it focuses, it laser focuses on you, and it's quite the engineering sight to see. It's very horrifying if it's pointing directly at you.
So one of the things I'm excited for with Pi, you can see it in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, is that they're vertically stacked. So I think this top turret will be able to see over the wall of the center island, and the bottom turret will not. And I think
that's
this
going to be
play,
interesting.
Yeah, as a really, really interesting strategy for Team Pi.
I wonder then, do you like have code to stop the bottom turret from firing unless both can maybe if both can see, you let them both fire. Maybe they both have to find it separately. We're going to find out in 3, 2, 1. Bring on the bots.
Woohoo! All right,
Both
the red engineer quite quick.
Oh, here comes the Mars rover going to the center point instead to get the gold cube. Both drones are out as well. The blue drone, however, making it a little bit faster to the center point. Going to start taking some shots at the red standard 4. Red standard 4 and blue standard 4 having a little bit of confrontation as well. Red standard 4 is taking a lot of damage, though, not really keeping up with terms of pace of health and damage dealt. It is going to get taken out, it looks like, and it does.
The red drone getting dragged into the fight, trying to back up his boy, doing a lot of damage to blue standard 4, but this does mean he's not attacking the outpost. Blue standard 4 falls to a third of health.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Blue standard 3 chunking away at the red hero, scares him back. He's able to fire 4 shots, dealing some chunk damage to the outpost. Will not be enough as blue standard 3 almost falls. Oh my goodness. Fighting in the middle, getting very,
might take out blue standard 3. Chasing for a bit does take out blue standard 3. What a good chase. What a good situational awareness from red standard 3. Tars goes standard, knowing what it needs to do to take out that standard. The blue hero, though, kind of sitting uncontested, just keeps launching these shots, and the outpost will go down because of it.
Drone doing a good job there on the blue side as well, helping take down that outpost. 6 projectiles in the hopper for Tarsgo hero. But again,
the central point, except for the blue.
Might be worth saving them.
Yeah, I would agree. Red hero gets a good shot on the outpost. Lands one more, maybe. Oh, he's getting attacked by blue standard 3. Blue standard 4, though, does end up getting chased away by red standard instead.
Red and blue infantry fighting on that center island. Blue standard 3 extremely low. He's going to have to time this carefully if he wants to get away. Now under fire from the sentry. Now under fire from the drone. If he makes it out, this will be the getaway of the century.
He does make it out, Preston. He does.
He's not out yet. Okay.
He's almost out. He does make it out.
I was scared for him. That drone was chasing
as the outpost falls.
I think Pi missed an opportunity to get a slight base health lead while they had the outpost down already. It's now tied up exactly 5,000 to 5,000. Not anymore.
However, as you say, that commentator's curse, Tarsgo does land a shot on the base.
The engineer for Pi is down and has been taken out a couple times. Really tough for Pi. They're falling behind in gold. I think
that econ advantage is going to come in quite a bit now, because you're going to see that these standards are going to have a ton of projectiles, but that hero can't get any. 34 to 4 is a lot of projectiles difference. And depending on the accuracy here.
Oh my goodness, 34 projectiles don't do you any good if you're dead.
Dang. Blue Standard also gets away with murder, essentially. Red Standard 4 does chase him down. Did he take him out? No. He barely missed.
Engineer is not moving even when he does come back online for Pi, which is going to be very, very disastrous.
He's essentially just a level up for the standards now. The blue sentry also being a level up for them as they knock it out. Yeah, the central point completely uncontested for Tarsgo at this point. The hero, however, not mobile until now. Going to have to heal up and then come back. Blue Standard 4 and Blue Standard 3 are doing a great job of keeping that hero down, but they got to start making a play of their own with their own hero. 9 projectiles in the hopper. Is it going to be able to sit down and actually line up some shots?
Yeah, Shaur, I'm going to take a second to explain one thing that I noticed earlier. The hero for Pi, I don't believe, actually landed shots on the outpost. He did fire several projectiles, but the drone is what took down the outpost for Team Pi, meaning that the hero has not dealt damage and has not gained experience as Blue Standard 3 goes off the edge and tumbles. So if you'll notice, Blue Hero 1 now finally ticks over to level 2, but with 3 minutes left in the game, he's 3 or 4 levels behind the enemy team hero. 9 projectiles in the hopper. He's really, really struggling to keep up.
We're seeing from the viewpoint of the red hero currently as he's taking those base shots. If he lands a couple more, it's going to be really bad for Pi. 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. That counts for 1. That doesn't, though. Another one lands. Another one lands again. This is not bad accuracy at all from the side of Tarsgo.
22 projectiles. One has to feel that unless the blue team is able to put some serious pressure on this red hero, Tarsgo will just chunk through the base.
I don't think they're able to, Preston. That Blue Standard 3 being knocked over is going to be really difficult for them to get back by. And Blue Standard 4 needs to get healing. He's healing up, but is he going to have time? Like, look at the accuracy here. I don't think he's going to have time. Yeah. The base is exposed. Both
I'm not sure what the blue hero is doing. He's been sitting in this spot. He's now launching projectiles.
But it doesn't matter. A little too late as red hero takes the cake. Amazing accuracy by the red hero. Tarsgo really showing that they're going to win that round. I got jokes today,
You
Preston.
got
I got
puns tonight,
puns.
Shaur.
I got puns tonight. I'm working on my pun game for RMNA. Solid play by Tars Go. I think they really truly showcased like just how strong heroes are in this meta if you get them to just stay uncontestedly. You know, once Blue Standard 3 went down and Blue Standard 4 was also out, it was really difficult for Tars Go to or for Pi to stop the Tars Go hero from just unleashing havoc onto the base. The only way they prolonged that game was essentially by knocking out the hero over and over again, which it's not a subsistible strat. You know, you can't play to not lose. You got to play to win. And we see this reflected in the stats as well. 15 sniper shots, Preston. Insane.
Yeah, I noticed when we were in the heads-up display of the hero, their scope looked really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Not only is that helpful, right, when you're aiming at things, but honestly, in RoboMasters, when you're aiming at a stationary target, it's much more helpful to see how you missed. They waste a lot less projectiles by having fewer errors, right? They're able to adjust.
Absolutely.
They're able to make the correction that most
Yeah.
teams just are not.
We've talked about this before, even like maybe just sending out a standard over to the other side of the field to just watch and be like, hey, you're a little high, hey, you're a little short, could be helpful as well. Just getting that ability to speak back to you. Resident 3 did solidly. I'm not against it by any means, but in terms of the MVP, I really
Oh,
do
come
feel
on.
like
My hero's been robbed.
Absolutely. I felt like that's a rob.
Can't
Or the
believe they
Tar
did that.
Curiosity rover as well. The engineer should have maybe gotten it. Did a really good job of keeping the econ going.
I love the innovation. These robots are super unique. We've got a full
Oh yeah.
swerve lineup of standards for Tars Go. We've got the Mars rover engineer.
Yep.
Their hero looks fairly typical for RMUC. I love the tape for the top of the hopper. That's their hopper lid. You know what? If it works, don't fix it.
I agree. Yep. Looking at Blue Standard 4. Also Swerve Drive, no, Preston?
Yeah. Swerve drive for Blue Standard 4. Really tiny little bots.
Oh
They're
yeah.
super cute. If we do a RoboMasters Let's Play, Shaur, you better expect something tiny because it's got to live at my house and then it has to live at your house.
I'll live with something that's small. It won't mind. I won't mind at all. We'll make that small robot so fast and so deadly it won't even matter.
Team's loading up, getting ready for round 2. Okay, if you're Pi, obviously you need your hero to do stuff this time. That was tough. I don't know what was going on. I think you've got to land early projectiles onto the outpost. I think if you don't land them, you fall behind in levels. You aren't going to get your levels, in my opinion, by fighting other robots. You're going to get them from the hero hitting the outpost.
Yep. I also do think it's really unfortunate that Pi's Standard 3 happened to fall off when it did. But that's kind of the risk you take when you go behind. You know what I mean? When your plan is to just like knock out the hero over and over again to just keep it from winning the game automatically, you're going to run into an issue of, hey, wait, one of our robots broke. Now we can't do that strategy and we just lose. It's an all or nothing strategy. And I really feel like it mostly pays off as nothing for most teams. And you can't really risk it in this case. The econ also matters. I feel like if I'm Pi, I don't send the engineer to get the gold cubes out the gate. I send it to get some silver cubes just to get us some econ, keep us in the fight essentially. And then later, once the central point is no longer as heavily contested, people have gotten levels, you can have some defense there and not get eliminated by a sentry, then you send it up, right? I feel like that's probably the strategy there too.
Okay, counterpoint. I think you go get a gold cube first. And then
it's so dangerous though. And your engineer got knocked out like 4 times in a row being there.
Yeah, it is dangerous. But you know what? It gets way more dangerous. Level 1, the engineer is quite tanky. The sentry and the drone are really the scariest parts. Once the game is later, yes, you can have standards come and punish the other team if they decide to shoot your engineer. But that's as far as defense goes, right? There's no shielding, there's no healing, there's kind of body blocking. There is body blocking. But frankly, I think the engineer going to the middle can be riskier later on because of how fast the time to kill becomes.
That's fair.
That's my point. I think if you get 1 gold cube, if you're a team like Pi that's not thinking you're going to be getting 2, 3, 4 gold cubes in a game, right?
Yeah.
Go get that 1, Take your time putting it away. You start with 500 gold. You have plenty of gold for the first couple minutes.
So that was my other little thing was like, well, you start with 500 gold, so getting an immediate huge gold burst in the early game, it's nice, but you're not going to use it as effectively as you will in the mid game. And the other team is not building that much more gold on you yet. I think that like the reason why I think maybe wait a little bit is because those standards do have to leave to go get more projectiles at some point, especially in the earlier game. Not necessarily the mid game, but the early game, right? Before they hit like level 5, 6, but they're not quite level 1 anymore, right? That first middle engagement that everyone has gold, everyone's using their drone for free as well. It's a free drone at the beginning of the game. It's a lot of extra stuff to deal with, and the sentries usually get sent out at that point to the center as well. Maybe you give it like 20 seconds and then see how things turn up and then go to the center. That's why I was like, maybe you get 1 silver cube and then go for the gold.
Chat,
But
let
we'll
us know. What do you think in the comments? If you were the engineer driver, if you were the team coach, where are you sending your engineer and when?
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
going for the gold early? You going for it in the middle? You just getting the silver cubes and not giving over a bunch of robot kills like you did in round 1? What's your play?
Do you even get cubes anymore? Do you decide actually there's no point in making econ? Who knows?
What?
We'll find out in 3, 2, 1. Bring on the bots. The TARS Curiosity Rover going again for the gold, whereas the Pi engineer getting the silver instead. The both drones are out as well now. The blue drone making it to the center again faster. Blue center 4 taking a couple hits from that red drone.
The Pi engineer was using the shelf of the stair to reposition that cube. So that, look, it's doing it again. It's setting down the cube, and now it's going to reposition and grab it from the side so that it's able to put those cubes away in the proper orientation. As Blue Standard 4 does some harassment, it's trying to get out, is getting a little stuck on this ramp. He's on the wrong side of the base.
Red Standard 4 at the same time.
He will get
doesn't trade
down.
there. Not a horrible trade. Both standards that get knocked out.
Yeah, look at the outpost.
A little bit less.
So many things to look at. Both drones absolutely just raining down projectiles. The outpost for TARS Go chunked quite a bit down, but still just from projectiles from the drone.
Absolutely. TARS Go's hero is now back online as well. Got knocked out by the Blue Standard 3 at the time. Blue Standard 4 gets knocked out again, not able to make it out of the base yet. Ooh, unfortunate. The entire team is surrounding him, and he's now pushed onto that little ridge there. He might be stuck, and if he is, he's just going to feed EXP essentially. However, TARS Go's outpost does go down first, and a hero shot does actually land. So the hero being very instrumental that time.
Oh no. Blue Standard 4, 2 wheels off the edge, high centered. Not what you want in a best of 3. Pi now going to be playing from the back foot.
They do have the buff though. We're seeing a dart open up. Is it going to launch? It's going to be too high. We're going to see 2. There's a second one loading up. Second one launches.
Oh my goodness, it hits for 1.
Counts for 1.
Oh, those are heartbreaking.
So unfortunate.
Oh, return darts aiming at the outpost.
TARS Go deciding to send his own
whole wheel on the floor. Oh my goodness.
Whose wheel is that? Somebody lost their wheel.
You can't park here.
Oh no, is that 2 standards? No, that's a sentry and a standard falling off. That's incredibly unfortunate.
No, that is Blue Standard 3, Blue Standard 4, both upside down.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. The blue sentry is completely out of projectiles as well. Mag dumped into the center during the beginning of the game and now unable to do anything.
Yeah, that is the problem with having a sentry that is so tall that it can see over walls. We saw it earlier in RMNA with the rail-mounted sentries. Teams whose sentry could see the enemy's team respawn had a proclivity to dump the full ammunition across.
Not achieved very much. Not achieved very much.
And if you did back then, you didn't get points for XP for damage, so you wouldn't get any kills because of the passive base healing. But the blue engineer trying to do some body blocking here of the red hero, but the drone going to chunk him down. Blue team comes in to do some damage to that hero, gets him down to about a quarter health. Maybe now a sliver.
TARS Go here though is still behind as we get into the second half of this round. They're just now only being able to focus the outpost. The hero from Tars Go hasn't really been doing too much this round. I wonder if he's saving up all of his strength for a future once the outpost is done to just kind of chonk through the rest of the base. But this is still very much in Pie's favor if they can somehow keep this lead. Blue
Yeah, three
Hero
minutes
kind of
left to go.
hiding in
That
his base
is a
is not a good
tall
thing.
order. Would love it though. I would love if they win with their 1 damage to the base being from a dart.
It'd be really funny. However, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. The outposts are now steady armor plates, and so the drone does not have to aim nearly as hard in order to break it apart. And the outpost will fall. The base is now exposed. The hero's already lined up to start taking those shots. Is he going to be able to, though?
The bots do significantly less damage, half damage actually, to that outpost once those panels stop spinning. So you save a lot of gold in your accuracy percentage, but if you can have more than 50% accuracy, it's still worth it to fire early and often. The wheel is from the engineer. The Tars Go Mars rover is now a 5-wheeled
Curiosity rover. 5-wheeled robot still sounds like one too many wheels, but you are correct, Preston. Those 2 Omni wheels are still keeping it up.
Look,
I guess
it's
they
working.
prepared for this. Yeah, they must have prepared for this.
Sure. That's very generous of you.
The red hero slowly making his way to the other side. Blue Sentry can't stop him. The engineer is trying to stop him by ramming into him, doing a tiny bit of damage.
Yeah, but
that red
look at the
hero
damage
is
that's already
there.
been dealt. Now they would need a dart to land for Pie.
Red Standard 4 doing a
or
little
the
bit
engineer,
of damage as well.
or the hero to do something. The blue hero, 20
Blue hero
projectiles.
has
Can he
20
backdoor?
projectiles and is moving. He's moving, Preston. He
All
shoots
he's
one
gotta
by
do-
accident in his movement. Red Standard 4 locks in. Red Standard 4 realizes, wait, hold on, we got to stop that guy. Stop him,
no,
stop him.
No,
The-
this was the
the
perfect
police
round
are
for a
chasing
Pie
him.
backdoor. Is that still a level 1 hero? A
No, it's
level
fine
2.
because-
It's a level 2
Oh,
hero.
the entire team is there. No. The blue hero will go down. He's completely blocked off from all angles. He's not
The
able to
engineer
make it
goes
to the
down in
MVP.
solidarity. The entire blue team dead in the same area. Now getting spawn killed are the flipped over standards. An ace coming across just about for Tars
Unfortunate
Go.
for Pie. They're not even like the drone is attacking the base at this point.
Uh-oh.
No, the red hero one is also upside down. Oh my
This is
goodness.
chaos,
That
Shaur.
one
Look,
ramp
the drone is the one dealing damage to the base, trying to gain an advantage. 50 points now, separating Team A and Team B, Tars Go and Pie.
Preston,
Honestly, if Pie had gone to the back, if they had able to backdoor, just one projectile probably would have won them round 2.
More than enough. Absolutely. 30 seconds left on the clock. There's really no hope for them anymore. The hero does come back online, but it would have to go all the way back to unlock its guns. Preston, I've heard of an accessibility ramp, but that one feels like a disaccessibility ramp. No one's able to make it across it.
Yeah, 12 seconds left to go. This was a bizarre round. Less than 100 HP going to make the difference as Targo takes round 2 and wins the best of 3 versus Team Pie.
Tars Go, absolutely, their drone deserves it. I like how they're not celebrating that much. They're like, what the heck happened, guys? Everyone's a little bit confused. But Tars Go's drone absolutely should be the MVP for that match. Incredible play by it, getting able to take out the outpost and then still dealing some damage to the base. I like that a lot. That was a solid round for sure. Funny round, definitely.
It was crazy.
That ramp play was really good. Oh,
so many flipped bots. I mean, it was just
so many flipped bots.
I don't know. That was wild. There were flipped bots. There were wheels on the floor. There was a hero that didn't move until the last 30 seconds. Let's take a look at the stats. 49.90 to 48.95. The closest game we've had in a long time, but in a weird way. 6 hero projectiles to 9 hero projectiles.
No one was able to fire shots at the base. The base was all taken out by 17 MMs.
And 1 dart.
And 1 dart that did exactly 1 damage.
It's tragic for Team Pie. Their dart would have been sufficient. Could have taken, given them the lead. Could have given them the win. Sent them to round 3. But in a best of 3, that will be it.
Imagine a world where all of those robots still fall at the ramp. All those robots still fall at the ramp. The red hero, both blue standards. Everyone falls over still. And that dart lands. I would be just sitting there crying of just peak cinema. Peak cinema, Preston.
I would have loved it for the dart team. It must be so tragic when
It's
your team
heartbreaking,
in
I'm
your
sure.
qualifying like game-winning round. Yeah, the drone has to be the MVP. Dealt all of the base damage for Tars Go. Congratulations, Tars Go. Excited to see them in the national tournament.
Let's hope they do well there as well. I'm excited to see more of the Tars Go Curiosity Rover. I think it's very solid. And yeah, good play from both teams. Preston, what do we got next? We've watched through two national qualifiers. Are we watching a third? I'm a little sleepy, so if you want to do question of the day, we can do question of the
Yeah,
day and
sure,
wrap
we
up
can
here
dive
today.
into. I've got two more, but we can save those.
Let's
Wednesday,
save
maybe
those.
we do another national qualifier and we talk about game design.
I think that would work well. Sorry, chat. As we're approaching RMNA, my energy is getting lower and lower before the competition because I'm realizing I need to conserve it. I need to
And
go. I
pack
need
it
to
in,
be
pack it in.
all in
You know what though,
and all
Shaur?
in for
You know
this week.
what? Me and you, we're gonna be the only commentators left with a voice come Saturday. All
We've
this
practiced.
vocal prep,
We've practiced.
we're ready. We're
We're
ready.
ready. We've been
Chat.
talking for weeks every 3 days. We're more than ready for a
Yeah, it's
4 hour
like
stream. We're
50% of the
good.
week, bro. We're talking
Oh yeah.
every it's crazy. But chat right now, we're gonna talk some more, and I would love to hear y'all talk. Let us know. YouTube comments, Twitch comments. If you want to talk to Shaur, go to the YouTube comments. If you want to talk to me, come to the Twitch comments. If you don't want to talk to either one of us, type it in both the comments, and we'll
Yeah.
fight over you. To talk about the question of the day. This one, I just want to pick your brain. I know we've talked about it. I just want to know what your answer is because it's almost RMNA and I want to talk about it. Which team's storyline do you feel like is most likely? So not most exciting,
Is
not like
most
most captivating.
likely.
Yeah, but you and I think have a pretty well mentally agreed upon range of what the storylines are for the year. Whose do you
Yeah.
think is most likely? Do you want to go first or second?
I could go first here. I think I have three storylines I think are gonna happen, right?
Okay, start with most likely though, and then tell us
Most
your answer.
likely,
Yeah.
my most likely is I think UW gets the 5P. It's such a good number. Five-time winning champion just feels so right to say. You know what I mean? And I think it's such a good way to cap off this 5 year era of RoboMaster North America if that happens, as well as they have 100% success rate in 3v3 of winning first place, right? It's not like anyone's ever taken them that far to it either. I think this is the first year that we see them maybe drop a game since 2021 in an official recorded match where nothing can be appealed away. But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that leads to a full set win. I do think it's going to be really hype though. I think they're going to win, but I think it's going to be like a really exciting, like close, like UW takes it through like experience. I think their experience is finally going to matter. I think this is the first year it's going to really matter. Their driver experience, their ability to have always had working robots, it's going to matter this time.
So hear me out.
Hearing you out.
The version of that storyline, the universe that I want to live in, I want UW to win this year from the losers bracket.
That would be so
I want them to like meet NUS because UW does have issues. They have very reliable bots. They have the most reliable bots in RMNA. But every year, usually, at least one round, at least one of their bots will have problems. And if that problem match lines up with like an NUS super match or like a CU, their bots are actually doing what they told me their bots are going to do for the last couple years match, or like a Texas A&M the Century Works this year match, right? Like, if one of those just the spark hits, I would love to see UW make that run from the losers bracket. I think it would be electric to see them with some pressure.
Run University of Washington would be so exciting. I do agree with you. It'd be hype. It reminds me of like the Mango losers runs of old in Melee, where it was like top one in the game gets hit into like lower bracket from pools, like 128th place makes his way all the way through knockouts to first place. Oh
yeah,
I can see
if that does happen, I will feel really bad for the losers bracket though. Like if UW's just running around in the losers bracket, just like
it's kind of not fair. You never had
just
a
running
chance,
through the forest, picking them up and smacking them on the head. You know, like it's not even gonna be fair if they're down there.
It's not fair, but it'd be really hype. So you know what? I'm all down for it. As a commentator, as an enjoyer of the spectation of the sport, I'm like, that's awesome. As someone who wants to see the scene continue to grow, I'm like, that would be a horrible situation to find some. Imagine you're like first year going into groups, right?
Yeah.
Like you're a team that finally made it out. Your first losers match is University of Washington, and you just got hit into the losers by VT, and you're like, I never
Yep.
stood a chance, man, for seventh
Yep.
place. What was I gonna do? Why couldn't I fight Purdue? Like, come
Hey,
on.
it could have been worse, Shaur. Before you took over the bracket, there was a year that Texas A&M got like knocked into losers bracket by UW, came back up, played UW again, got knocked out, and that was it. Like that was the run.
Welcome to that was the original like crazy
It was
DJI
tough.
double elimination bracket where they decided that there is no losers bracket actually. It's consolation prizes. So
Okay, so I agree with you. That was also my first option for most likely is that UW takes it down. I'm actually really excited this year. I
mhm,
think this year I might just be a big UW simp. I think
I agree. I
I
agree.
think I think it's not fun to root for a team on their third year in a row winning. Third year in a row winning, I'm like, somebody take them out. Fourth year in a row winning, I'm like, dang, and US might
Man,
take them
they're kind of
out.
doing
But
crazy. But
fifth
now
year,
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
they gotta
do it
get the five
again.
seed.
5 in a
They gotta
row.
get the 5 in a row. Because like it's
Yeah.
such a good. I don't think we're ever gonna see that number replicated. Whatever UW streak ends at now,
Yeah.
I don't think in RMNA history going forward it's ever going to be replicated. I think teams will just get too close
So
together.
something to
Like I
look
think there's
at
so much you can do.
in RMUC history is typically teams that win two-peat.
Mm,
And I think that has a lot to do with the nature of college competitive sports
yeah,
and robotics combined, right? So your robots can stay the same because the game doesn't change a ton from year one to year two, but from year one to year four, it's changed a whole lot, right?
yeah,
And then you also lose a lot of students in between year one and year three. Year one, year two, you don't really. So
yeah, yeah.
it is going to be more and more challenging for teams to get more than two wins in a row. But I think 5 in a row, I agree with you. Probably never again repeatable.
Another reason why 5 in a row is so exciting to me is that it's like this is the first iteration of the UW team that will definitively have nobody from from the very first iteration, the 2021 one that won, right? Because it's 5 years now. A cycle is 4 years. There's probably some people who stayed around from freshman year to now. They graduated last year. I doubt there's anyone left on that team who remembers that very first competition and won it and is like taking that with them, right? They're carrying on this legacy they don't even really know necessarily. And I think it's awesome. I think it's an amazing like cap to UW's like legacy if they end up getting this 5P. It's like, wow, this is what RMNA built up to for 5 years. Was UW just dominated for 5 years in a row, and they were
Char,
unstoppable.
I love it.
Yeah.
100% agree. Add to our thrift shopping list.
Mhm.
Let's get them some massive rings. If they get 5, I want a picture with
Absolutely.
UW with just 5 just
5 rings.
gaudy giant cheapo metal
5
rings.
golden
Oh,
rings.
100%, dude. 100%.
I'd be
Yeah,
so
really
down.
excited for UW. Let me think about my second choice because you did pick my first choice.
I do also have a second choice.
Okay, I don't know how much of a storyline. I mean, it's such a gimme, but I'm gonna
Mhm,
count it anyway.
mhm.
I think CU has a wild revenge arc.
I think so. I think
Knocked
that's
out of
fair.
groups, kicked out by RHIT, which
Yep.
like I love RHIT, pillar of the community, awesome team. Not the team CU wanted to get knocked out at their home field at their own college while hosting. Nope, not that's not how
Yeah.
they wanted that to go.
That's not the team they wanted that to go to. Yep.
So I think
And by only
CU,
a couple hundred base health as
yeah,
well was the
oh, it was
suckiest part.
tragic. And they thought they were in, and then they were out, and then their mom was there, and their team mascot was there, and I mean it was
The
tragic.
team
So
mascot being there was the heartbreaker. It was
yeah,
like,
the little buff was there. So I think the CU revenge arc does go wild. I'm
yeah,
not sure I'm on board with like takes them to first place,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
think top 4, potentially top 3. I think coming back with a vengeance. I really hope they end up in the group with our like RHIT or
Mhm.
UCSD or UW would be hilarious to just kind
It'd
of
be
see
really
them
fun if we just get a
just
repeat of last
full
year's.
anime arc, just get to fight their way back,
Yeah,
defeat their
yeah,
demons from last year.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Preston, you want to hear my second most likely, in my opinion, storyline? Maybe not necessarily most likely. It's one that I'm hoping for a lot, and I'm putting a lot. I'm manifesting the energy. I think it's very possible. I think this is the year that the top 4 only has 2 repeats. I think only UW and VT will be top 4 again this year that were previously. I
Okay.
don't think Camu makes top 4.
Agreed.
and I don't think NUS makes top 4. And I have some reasonings for this. My number one reasoning is there is a secret little black horse here. That it's not really that secret, but I don't think people realize how strong Oedo Samurai is, and that team is definitely getting into groups or sorry, into knockouts, and that team will be destroying knockouts up until top 4, in my opinion. They're competing with Chinese teams well. They're doing decently in the international bracket. They're up against the HQST, which is a team that does super well as well. I think that team, very solid 3rd or 2nd place. I think they eliminate Tamu for sure. I think Tamu doesn't make it for that reason. I think NUS, on the other hand, gets taken out by a surprise, either CU, who will make it in the top 4, because like you just said, they have their revenge arc,
Sure.
or, and hear me out on this one, I think that the top 4, the 4th person could end up being out of nowhere.
Don't say RHIT. What are you saying?
I'm not going to say RHT. I'm going to say Purdue.
Purdue. Okay.
The
You're just a
reason
balancing boy. It's just who you are, Shaur.
I'm a balancing
it's
boy.
It's just who you are.
But listen to me. Purdue specifically, the reason why is because they're the only team, and I've been doing this stat work, which is why I'm like, hold on a second. They're the only team that places higher every year. And they've been getting higher and higher. They're at 5th place right now, overall. There's only one way to go. It's top 4.
Is there only one way to go?
There's only one way to go. I'm praying there's only one way to go. I was a little bit of a hopium take because I love the balancing. But yeah, I think Oedo for sure knocks out Tamu or NUS from the top 4. I think one of those two is not making it. VT's Sentry looks so scary that I'm like, I'm putting a lot of bets on them getting into grand finals again as 2nd.
You know what, Shaur? I think the thing you haven't taken into account is Texas A&M's plot armor. It's thick, bro.
That's the thing. It's really
freaking thick.
It's,
like if you look every year, their bracket group is like chef's kiss. Their circumstances that like get them past NUS, get them past some of these teams that like on paper you're like, oh, that's the end of A&M's run.
It's not fair.
Their plot armor is wild, bro.
Their bracket last time was like so unfair. Like that was not fair to any other team.
Crazy.
They had SFU, Purdue, University of Alberta. I forgot who else was in the Tamu bracket. There was one more person, didn't make it through. McMaster, that was who it was.
Yes.
What? CU, RHIT, and UW were in one bracket. The NUS bracket had like tons of people as well that were super good. Nagoya's in there. McMaster, like all these teams are in there. And I'm just like, Tamu almost lost to first-year team SFU in their bracket. What? Huh? That's the thing, actually. SFU did so because Nagoya sadly had to drop out this year. SFU is now top 8 seed for this bracket. So also that's another thing where it's like SFU could totally pull an upset here that knocks one of these teams out as well, in my opinion. Just one upset is enough. As we saw, right? One upset in a group, not even against the person you knock out by accident, can be enough sometimes. So I think it's very possible as well that like some shenanigans happen in the group stage. SFU knocks someone out when they maybe shouldn't have. Some base healths get involved again. People are tied up in scores where they shouldn't be. It's very possible in my mind.
We'll see.
I don't know, Preston. I'm hyped. I'm
hyped. There's some crazy storylines this year. It's
21 teams.
Tough to say.
Only 8 can go into the knockouts. Only 1 can win.
Yeah, I mean, it could be crazy this year, Shaur. It could be crazy.
It's gonna be.
It could be.
It's gonna be
wild. Like, I mean, you've got teams.
There's so
Torino.
many
You've been watching Torino. I mean, I know you have. You've done your league shows.
Yeah.
Torino's not looking bad.
Their balancing looks like it works. If that balancing gets up on that
their
platform,
hero looks good. I mean,
their hero looks great. Just saying.
They're a team that, from the beginning, I have said, you know what, they will probably be able to make a pretty decent century. They're a team founded by graduate students doing controls research, which is why they went for the balancing bot initially. And I think it tends towards students focused more on just enjoying the robotic challenge than perhaps going for what was strategically most viable. And that has hindered them a bit. But I think once you get over that learning curve, I keep waiting. Each year I keep waiting to see them start to coast downhill, right? And just crush it up. So this could be the year. This could be it.
I'm feeling that.
All right, Shaur. All right, chat. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Reminder, we'll be back on Wednesday to talk to you guys. And then next week, every stinking day, RoboMaster
Every
North America and the Robotics
day.
Esports channel. Check it out. Come hang out. Make sure you use your Twitch Prime sub on RoboMaster North America.
Yep. Got nothing else to say. Bye, everyone.
Bye.